Well, I don't know how many years on this earth I got left. I'm gonna get real weird with it.
Hello, my beauties and bees. It is I, your humble host, Bumblebee, getting weird with it in full mermaid attire from our Cryptic Corner episode that just wrapped up. I choked myself, but we did mermaids. But today, we got to cover something freaking topical here that I meant to do last week and then forgot because, well, I'm fucking busy right now. But we have to talk about it because people are freaking out about drones in New Jersey. Drones in New Jersey. I'm not even kidding. People are having a panic attack about it. Let me show you. This guy is going to jump all over the place, and then he's going to appeal to Tucker Carlson. We're looking at this guy named Tyler Feller. Now, this is mostly like a ministry channel kind of thing, but he's got a few videos about the drones that I need to deal with, that we need to deal with. And actually, we're going to watch the live coverage that he did right here. Alien tech or demonic tools. All right, and this starts about a minute. This looks like this Terminator music intro, though. That's the Terminator.
Welcome tonight to Faith Friday.
Y'all couldn't even hear the Terminator music. Hold on. Let me rewind it. Let me hear, so you can hear what I was talking about. That's the Terminator song, right? Anyway. Here we go. It's freaking time. Go full drones.
Hi, my friends. Welcome tonight to Faith Friday, and there's certainly a lot going on
Friday
in our country that we need to be talking about. We are in a situation where the entire country's basically being, given the runaround as it pertains
to... because people have drones. Oh my gosh, they're so scary.
This invasion of drones, and as far as I can tell, this is our country, it's our land, it's our airspace, and we need to be in a situation where we're able to talk about it. And so I want to talk about that tonight in a very, very important way. If you don't mind putting in the chat.
Yeah, this is live, by the way.
Yeah,
it's like a side chat right here.
Any drones where you're at.
But I digress. Fake It Friday. We're at Sacrilege Saturday.
Okay. Liz, welcome to the Feller fam. Glad to have you.
Okay.
And yeah, these drones are just something I think is so important that we are going to need to be talking about. And I'm glad that we're able to do it tonight.
I appear when someone says hot topic. I'm trying to make it stop, but those Beetlejuice curses are tough to break. I love Hot Topic, though. I have some jewelry somewhere from Hot Topic. I used to go there every now and then. My shorts, my trans flag shorts with the hearts on the butts from Hot Topic.
It's no surprise there's a series of mysterious drone sightings across New Jersey and neighboring states, raising concern, prompting investigations by local and state federal authorities. These incidents have led to various theories, including potential connections to foreign adversaries, advanced surveillance operations, even extraterrestrial.
That is what we're here for.
Influences, and that's what I want to talk about tonight on
extraterrestrial and demonic influences. That's what the Hive loves. Do you guys love when we have people making extraterrestrial and demonic claims about mundane things like drones? I love it so much. And they panic about it. These people are in full panic mode.
Faith Friday. The discussion tonight aims from a Holy Spirit, faith-filled perspective to provide an overview of the current drone sightings, explore the prevailing theories, and examine the responses from authorities and the public. Since mid-November 2024, residents of New Jersey have reported numerous sightings of unidentified drones, particularly during the nighttime hours. Okay, let me know if you've seen them.
Okay, so before we get started, it's weeks away from 2025, right? From the year 2025. It is time with all the drones and stuff that we have, with commercial drones, with residential drones, like privately owned residential drones, and military drones, it's time to divide up the airspace. There needs to be, from like, I don't know, like 10 meters to, or depending on what city you're in, but up to like 1,000 meters or so will be drone fly space. And then above that will be airplane fly space or manned space. And then above airports and stuff, you can have different regulations. But they're gonna have to do something like that. Eventually, it's gonna happen. Get used to seeing drones flying through the sky. There's gonna be drone lanes soon. We're gonna have drones everywhere. They're gonna spell out advertisements for you. It's the future. Drones aren't going anywhere. They're not disappearing. They're not going anywhere. And that's what we're seeing now, is that just drones are becoming more accessible, easier to program. You can program them to spell things, to make freaking dragons fly across the sky, to make giant spheres. That's why these people are nuts, because they're like, oh, they're too big. They're too big to be commercial drones. They're not too big to be commercial drones. There's you can have like sheets spread over drones. I saw a Snoopy on his doghouse drone is bigger than me. Is almost as big as a small car. Yeah, you can make it, or you could have multiple drones together at night that look like one big drone flying together because they're programmed to stick together. They can literally make a dragon or a giant sphere or a UFO. All right, let's go, bud. I just want to get that off my chest first.
These drones have been observed hovering over residential areas, critical infrastructure, and sensitive sites such as military installation and the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster. Some reports describe the drones as being as large as SUVs, flying in formations, and exhibiting advanced capabilities. Governor Phil Murphy acknowledged the sophistication of these drones, noting that they go dark the minute that they're spotted, making them difficult to track. Despite the widespread concern, authorities have stated,
"You're right. We need more efficient pizza drones. It's time. It is time for the pizza drones. The 2025 will be the year of the pizza drone. Make it sell. Whichever pizza company gets me a pizza drone first will be known as the official Hive pizza. So that's an honor that I don't just hand out easily. So I think that it's important that you guys compete for the title. Not you in the live chat. I'm talking to the pizza places. I'm talking to Little Caesars. I'm talking to Pizza Hut. I'm talking to Papa John's. I'm talking to Domino's, CC's. I'm talking to, who else am I talking to? Papa Murphy's is one we had back home, but I don't know if that they have that here or not. Casano was another one they had back home. But I'm talking to all of them. Get me the pizza drone. I don't care what drones do as long as they can deliver me food and weed. Yeah, that's what people are freaking out about, but drones are just where things are headed. Companies are going to use drones to do deliveries. Citizens are going to use drones to, I imagine that citizens are going to be able to use drones to deliver stuff to their friends and family too. Like you'll be able to drop a package off at grandma's house with your drone instead of having to hire the post office to do it or a carrier to do it. Just thinking out loud. I just, my prospect on the future with drones. I mean, obviously weight's going to come into play too, what you're delivering, but
that there is no known threat to the public. The FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and the New Jersey State Police are actively investigating the drone sightings. The FBI's Newark field office have requested public assistance, urging individuals with information or footage of the drones to come forward. Naval weapon stations in Colts Neck, New Jersey, reported multiple instances of unidentified.
And these are the same people that don't understand, you have no rights to privacy in public, right? Like, people are going to have drones with cameras on them now. It's just the way it is. There's going to be drones up there in the sky all the time. When you step outside, you're going to be recorded. That's just the way it is from now on. Yeah, it sucks, but that's the way it's going to be. And there's really no way you can regulate that. You have, because you're able to record in public spaces, right? And if something's visible from public spaces, you can record it, whether it's through somebody's window or in someone's backyard. right? If you can fly your drone up there and see it, you're going to be able to see it. They're good for missing person searches, allow searchers to see from the sky, but close enough to see details, right? And they can also like stop, like pause in the air without burning a bunch of helicopter fuel. They can hover in place if they find something. Yeah, missing persons. When there's been a big pile up of a big traffic pile up on a highway or such, they can use those to search search through the wreckage for survivors. That kind of stuff. Also going into fires, using drone use by fire departments to go into like burning areas and check for survivors, things like that. Great. Drones are the future. They really are, but they're going to be everywhere.
By drones entering its airspace. And despite these breaches, officials assert that there's no evidence suggesting that the drones pose any threat to national security or public safety. And as far as I can tell, people in this chat, people in my friend group, myself, feel like that's just not a great sentence. Oh, we don't think it poses any threat. Well, you don't even know what the heck they are. And so, yeah, we're a little concerned about it, and we want to know what's going on.
We do know what they are, though. They're drones. With cameras. I'm sure they got cameras on them, but they're drones. We know what they are. Shut up and stop making up stupid conspiracies.
Has addressed the situation, denying claims that the drones are linked to foreign adversaries such as Iran. Initial assessments indicate that the drones are not from a foreign entity, and that there's no evidence, they said, of a mothership launching drones towards the United States. The unexplained drone activity has led to various theories and speculations among the public, including if this is for foreign surveillance, including Congressman Jeff Van Drew suggested that the drones could be linked to foreign adversaries conducting surveillance operations. It could be a military exercise, which is kind of what I'm hoping. Is this local police chiefs? They're saying we think that this is military drills that are now being
later,
made
Brian.
by copycats, and other people are saying, is this an alien invasion, or is this related to some sort of spiritual entity? Is this demonic? Is this angelic? And these perspectives lack.
Is it demonic or is it angelic? I guess I can end this poll. In that poll, you all do want to talk about the Minnesota Iceman. I'm going to start a new poll. And we're going to say, are the drones angelic? Demonic? Alien? Or, there we go. All right. There's my poll. All right. So you pick your answer on the poll.
Empirical evidence, it does reflect the public's attempt to make sense of the unexplained phenomena. And so what I want to do tonight is
fearmonger.
Go through
what he wants to do tonight
from different perspectives.
What he wants to do tonight is called fearmongering. You'll see.
Perspectives about what you think it is. Put in the chat what you think it is, and I'm going to watch this report. I haven't watched it yet. Amy Heights sent it to me. She said it's crazy.
What's so crazy about it?
It's crazy. Those were her.
It's crazy because you have a conspiracy brain.
Her exact words. And so since she said that, I'm trusting her. I'm going to play it. Amy, you said it's crazy. You better be right.
Or what? Are you threatening Amy? Amy didn't have to give you any video, young man. You need to apologize and say thank you.
Advisor and assistant to the president. John, good to have you with us. What do you make of the reaction? A lot of people were unhappy with that comment that you made yesterday and felt like you were, telling people that they were nuts or that they didn't know what they were seeing with their own eyes.
No, not at all, Martha. That's the farthest thing that I would ever do. I was simply reiterating.
Now, this is Fox News, so they're going to put their own Fox News flavor on it, where this blonde lady, who is, your typical Fox News anchor, is going to insist that there's something nefarious about people having drones and flying them around.
The FBI and what the Department of Homeland Security have relayed to us about what they've been able to corroborate. And we haven't been able to corroborate everything. I said many.
And just watch the screen here on the right while we're going through this.
Of the corroborated sightings have turned out to be piloted aircraft. I didn't say all of them, and what I said was those are the ones we were able to corroborate.
So every time that they were able to confirm what the people were seeing, it's been an airplane. or a helicopter. Man, people are just in hysteria mode at this point. You remember, mass hysteria. We had to talk about the Monkey Man of New Delhi, the Mad Gasser of Mattoon, the Mothman of Point Pleasant. All of these are examples of mass hysteria where one person didn't know what they were looking at and didn't know what they were seeing, reported something freaky, gets into the public mind. People start seeing other things and thinking they're seeing the same thing. People start reporting hoaxes. It becomes a big snowball effect. And people start reporting every light in the sky when it comes to UFO mass hysteria.
There's certainly ones that we have not been able to, and we don't know the answer to it. And I strongly...
That's because the military cannot pin down every person with a freaking drone and a pair of goggles standing in their backyard flying their drone around the Garden State. You know, they can't pin down each one to every person. It's just like it's like radio controlled airplanes. We don't have any FCC trackers on those things. Maybe we should have. I don't know. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Drones should be required to have some kind of tracking on them. I don't know if that's the solution, but it's not aliens and demons.
I strongly recommend that for folks that are seeing these things and documenting them to share that as they can with Department of Homeland Security and the FBI.
All right, well, let's do that. Let's share it with you right now. Let's put up this photo. This is the close-up one. Here we go. This is in Bernardsville, New Jersey. So, John, are you able to see this photo?
No, ma'am.
It's just a drone. Just somebody's drone flying over a house, flying over property. Nothing ominous or nefarious. People have drones and they fly them around. Why is this surprise? We've been doing it for years now. Are people just now looking up? Did the internet go down in New Jersey and people finally went outside and looked up? Said, hey, all of a sudden there's people flying drones around. Let's say that's weird. The people that are so terrified of the government or foreign powers spying on them, what the hell do they really think that they have or do that would be of interest to the feds? Well, they're doing something they don't want anybody to know about, right? They're up to something. It's probably something gross. Probably like a fetish or something they don't want the government to know about. It's like, if you can see my second story window, you can see me rubbing myself with peanut butter. They're finally with Jesus spying on them, though. And Jesus spies on all of us, just like Santa Claus. When you're driving a drone, does it tell you your altitude on your remote control display? I think you wear goggles, right? You wear like a viewing thing. It's like a VR kind of situation, and it has a monitor like on the inside of the goggles. I think that there's like readings and stuff that come up, like altitude. I don't know if it has longitude. I'm sure some of them have longitude, latitude. Some of them probably have a GPS tracker built into them too, so you don't lose your expensive drone. But these are available commercially. You can like go buy one.
You don't have a monitor there?
No, actually, I turned the monitor off. It distracts me, so I didn't see it.
All right. Well, you'll have to take a look at it after, but I can describe it to you. It is large. It has a white bar that goes through the middle. The right-hand side is half lit up, white on the top and red on the bottom. The other side is green.
So the Fox News reporter doesn't know how cameras work. This is not capturing a bar of white with two bars on either side of it. These are just spherical. This is when you capture something moving, right, over a longer exposure time, you get this effect. So that's not actually what it looks like. These aren't what the lights actually looked like. You can actually see that the lights on the right changed color during the picture. They went from, actually it looks like they caught them down here at the bottom when they were white, and then it turned red, and it blinks red and then goes back to white again. You can see that right there because it's kind of like the Doppler effect, you know. It catches it blinks back and forth, white and red on this one, so it's going white red, and it catches it white red white, and that's it. And this side's just green.
So what would that, you're a former military.
I mean, okay, Amy, I'm giving you points. That does look crazy. So I'm giving you points. That does look crazy. Jennifer Swain, Cat Joy, thank you
It
so
looks
much.
crazy because you don't understand how photography works either. It's just a little drone, my guy. Just a little drone flying over. Somebody has a drone and they're flying it, maybe in their backyard, and their neighbor's like, "Oh, look, an UFO," and took a picture of it and sent it into the news channel, sent it into Fox News. Literally, that's how these dumb things get spread out. Let's see. Mine can cameras. Bree is talking about freaking Metal Gear Solid drones. It depends on the drone, whether FPV or a traditional remote, but most have some kind of altitude display. All the ones I've seen are the ones I saw were like the one my mom's office has that had like the goggle things, and then the local fire department has one with goggles, like a nice one. I know that you can get little bitty ones. It's just like an RC, with no visor or anything where you can see what it sees. But sometimes you just have to fly up and just start taking pictures. It depends on what you got. Yeah, Jesus will forgive you for sins. Drones never forget that you met a dude in the park for a handy. Well, girls gotta hustle. Yeah, there should be a law against looking in people's windows with drones, even if you're looking from a public airspace. That's the thing too. That's the sovereign citizen argument, right? The people like that'll stand on the street and record your house, and you call the cops on them, and the cops can't do anything because they're recording in public spaces, and all you can do is close your blinds and hope they go away. I think voyeurism laws cover that. I'm not a lawyer, though. No, if you're in public spaces and so you can see somebody from a public space, you're good. You can record them. There's no laws against that anywhere. I don't think there can be. I don't think there's any way to. That's such a hard law to enforce. I want a drone for Christmas now. Yes, Spooky. You need a drone. How many trained crows do you have in your army, Sumami? The cool thing about crows is they'll train their kids for you. 2 main crows, but something like 5 show up. Yeah, you need to train your crows to be... Who needs drones, right? Sumami's got her crow army. So Sumami's going to be the crow mermaid. Crow maid. The crow maid? The bog witch. Flotsam has to gather everyone together to bring them over for breakfast. Sometimes it just shows up. Sometimes he shows up with Jetsam. That's not weed growing. It's tomatoes that you see on the drum cam. Of course it is, John. You bought yours for spotting deer.
Much for those amazing super stickers.
So when Jesus watches me poop, is he watching from inside the toilet or from above? Is he looking down on me? Or is he up in the toilet watching from the backside, seeing how things are coming out?
Look crazy. What is that? Why is this happening and we don't know what it is? Eric says it's Iran or China.
We do know what it is. It's a drone, dude. It's a drone.
Fine. I feel like that.
It doesn't have to be an Iranian or Chinese spy drone. It could be domestic. Could be commercial. Could be military.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Cat Joy says, I feel like it's demonic. Maybe it's China. I think it could be too.
Demonic? Maybe it's China. The Chinese demons. It's Chinese demons. That's what it is. You can tell because it's red, white, and green. Ooh, red, white, and green. Whose flag's red, white, and green? Is this Italy? Are we being spied on by Italy or Mexico? Oh, it's a Mexican drone.
Definitely doesn't feel like there's something about it in my spirit that doesn't feel right. And part of the reason I don't feel right about it is because of the way that they're just not being forthright and telling us what's actually going on.
They are. You just like, no, it can't be that because that doesn't feel like what it is. It can't be just the neighbor kids with their drone flying it around. Nope, that can't be it. It has to be something nefarious.
Person yourself. You're an admiral. You're the White House National Security Communications Advisor. I'm sure you have seen some of these images. So what is that we're looking at?
It's difficult for me to tell you, Martha. We don't really know. It is possible.
This is the guy from the White House?
Yeah, because they don't have ways to track residential drones. They don't have ways to track little Jimmy flying his drone around in the park, flying it over town. They don't have any way to track that. The government does not, so they can't say this is little Jimmy's, model blah 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 drone that he bought off Amazon on June 8th, 2023. They don't have the resources to track that. That does not mean that it's demons. That does not mean it's Chinese spies. It does not mean that it's freaking aliens.
On the news saying we don't know what it is.
That some of these things could be...
They're not saying they don't know that it's a drone. They're saying they don't know whose drone it is or what it's doing, which makes sense because they don't have a way to track drones. My dude, stop fear-mongering.
Commercial drones.
This is Joe Biden's spokesperson telling the American people on Fox News that we don't know what this is.
Did you not just hear the word commercial drone? Did you not hear that? Are you listening? Commercial drone. What does that mean to you? Does that mean he doesn't know what it is?
How many of you have a weird feeling about this? Put a 1 in the chat.
Because you're fear-mongering paranoia. This is the rapture, sure. Tyler, this is the rapture. You're all getting raptured next week. Congratulations after Christmas, so that everybody can open their presents first. Then the rapture will come. You'll hear the trumpets. For fuck's sake.
How many of you have a weird feeling about this? Just put a 1 in the chat. Again, we're going to approach this tonight on Faith Friday from a faith-filled perspective.
From a faith-filled perspective of drones.
Developed for commercial purpose.
What about remote control boats or remote control cars? Do you have a faithful perspective on that? Remember we watched a couple weeks ago the guy with the Furby, the Orthodox guy from back in 2001 or something. He was talking about how Furbies had demons inside them. Do drones have demons too?
Purposes. It's possible that they could be owned by private citizens.
But why don't we know, John? That's the point. Why doesn't...
Okay, so these people, this is the Fox News audience, right? These are libertarian people. And they want to know, damn it, why you can't track private citizens' private property that they are flying around. They want to know why we can't track that. These people have no consistency. We don't want the government in our business, but we want the government tracking the drones of private citizens flying around. Make it make sense. Make it consistent. Can you be consistent? It's like Anarchic Fox says. Dude's going to call for more regulation for drones than for guns. Exactly. Actually, the rapture happened last week and no one is missing. None of us got in, huh? None of us made the admission cut. Nobody alive in the year 2024 is getting raptured. Raptured by drones, absolutely. Well, there is an issue. Under current law, American drone owners, whether private or corporate or whatever, have to register their drones with the FFA, including ways to track it. No, they don't. I've had several drones and never had to register anything. I don't know where that's coming from, but I bought my drones at Walmart and didn't have to register them. I bought drones at Walmart and I bought one at Dick's and didn't have to register any of them. The fact that we can't figure out whose drones they are means either they're illegal drones or they're not American. They're probably residential. They're probably privately owned. I don't think that they have to be not American. I don't think that they have to be illegal either. Maybe in New Jersey they have different laws, but yeah, I know lots of people with drones, and I've had friends who have drones. We go out to the parks and stuff and fly them. We fly them over town and take pictures. There's always drones flying over the football games and stuff, and they're privately owned. So I don't think that there's any reason to suspect that they'd be illegal. Is that in New York State, or where are you getting that law at? Because yeah, you can buy these at Walmart. You can buy them at Dick's. You can buy them on Amazon. You don't have to register them with anything. Yeah, call the cops on me, Spooky. Take me down. Take my crime organization down. My drone mafia.
the United States government, no, it seems silly. I mean, it feels a lot like the Chinese spy balloon. It was like, oh, we don't know, it's not a problem. Then we watched it go all the way across the country, and we kept hearing, we're not really sure where it came from until we saw it popped and, floated down over the ocean.
That's not quite how it went. We were pretty honest with the American people that we knew it was Chinese, and we knew that where it was going to go, and we were pretty comfortable.
They're always like, hey, shoot them down. Like, yeah, I'm going to shoot it down so it falls through someone's living room.
We're not quite honest. Look at her face. That's the face I'm making. I'm like, that is not what you were quite honest about.
Given the analysis that there wasn't going to be an intelligence threat by it, and we shot it down once it was over safe waters and wasn't going to hurt anybody. But back to this. Why don't we know? I wish I could tell you exactly why we don't have an answer for you here in the afternoon on the 13th of December, but I can tell you that we are working on it very, very hard to know, because we want to.
Okay, I think I see the difference between what Ember was talking about, what I'm talking about. Okay, so if they're above a certain weight, they have to be registered. Drones that weigh more than a half a pound have to be registered. Drones that weigh more than a half a pound and less than 55 pounds. Drones flown for recreational purposes under Part 107. Yeah, so all the drones that I've ever had were light enough that you didn't have to register them. They're just, but maybe this heavier ones you do. I just looked up the FFA regulations on them. How to register your drone. Do I need to register my drone? Here we go. That's what we're going to look at. All right, hold on. We're going to look at this real quick because it's important to the conversation. Federal law requires all drones under 14 CFR Part 107 to be registered. The limited statutory exception for recreation requires registration of all aircraft weighing more than 55 pounds, 250 grams. All registered aircrafts must have their registration number displayed on the exterior. Yeah, and it gives you, here's the registration information to learn more. Now, the drones that we're talking about generally don't weigh that much. They generally aren't that big, like residential drones. And you can have a whole fleet of them programmed to fly together. But they have to be big enough to require that. And most of them are about the size of a softball. You ever see the ones where they fly up and make spheres and stuff with? The ones that they do the art with, the ones that we're seeing in New Jersey now, they don't look like giant, like commercial drones that would like deliver packages and stuff. They look like just like little camera drones.
Are working on this very, very hard. We are now applying. There was an interagency conversation this morning about this topic, where we have now decided to employ some additional technology to New Jersey and some additional personnel to try to get a better sense of what these things are. And as I said yesterday,
how could we not just fly some military?
I don't know anybody who Ember. I didn't know anybody who had a drone that weighed enough to have to register it. They're just little camera drones. The ones that they're showing in these videos are like little camera drones too. They don't look like big drones that would weigh 55 pounds or whatever the regulations they're talking about there that you'd have to register it for. But yeah, I mean, if you had to have registration for them, for the little ones, I mean, we used to put them in Easter baskets and stuff.
Up there and capture it. How come that's not an option? How come it hasn't happened already? Am I going loco for Coco myself right about now? Because how is that even a thing? I'm losing it over here. I'm losing my mind over here because we should have already been able to capture it.
Martha, as soon as we know, we're going to.
No, I hear you. This is shocking. I got to tell you, this is shocking. Okay, and I'm not the only person who feels this way. This was happening at Langley a month ago. Okay,
man, apparently people are really spazzing about these, though. People own drones now. It's just normal. They're like, no, this is troubling. It's like you're worried that people own drones and are flying them around. Yeah, I don't think the little drones wouldn't do more. I mean, they're lighter than a bird, so I don't think they would do. You know.
These people are not crazy. They're seeing these things with their own eyes. This is not normal behavior. They are not planes that are coming in one direction and they're heading into Newark Airport and then they're landing, okay? We spend $824 billion on defense. We have the greatest intelligent capability in the world.
But you don't want people all up in your personal private business, so make up your mind, Fox News. Do you want the government to track everything you do when you have a vehicle or drone moving outside of your property? Is that what you want for the future? You need to decide.
So how can you stand there and say to the country right now, gosh darn, we just don't know what these are?
Because I'm not going to lie to you or to the American people, and I'm not going to say we know something when we don't. And we would never, ever stoop to think that an American citizen was crazy or nuts because of what they're seeing and what they're documenting. We're taking that imagery seriously, and we're doing the best we can to analyze it. And we encourage people to come forward if they have additional sightings and imagery. We want to do the best we can to triangulate it. But
Yo, we are not this stupid. I feel like we're just getting the runaround because anybody else feel like we're getting a run? How can we, the most advanced military system in the entire universe, in the history of the world?
How come you're asking why our military isn't monitoring people playing with toys in their yard? It's so weird to me. Coming from people like on the right, especially coming from these personal liberty folks, wanting the government to be monitoring their toys.
Not be able to, you know, be in a situation where we can just figure this out.
He's explained a couple of times that he believes these are commercial drones owned by private citizens that aren't registered either because they're too small or, like Ember said, they're illegally flying them if they're within that with that weight capacity. I think over 55 pounds you're not even allowed to have I think you have to register it as like an aircraft after that. But from what we looked at with the law there, so they're either the government knows they're either the ones that are small enough that they're not gonna have to be registered, or that they're illegal ones that are being flown by private citizens. There's no reason to believe that they're extraterrestrial, that they're demonic, or even that they're foreign. It's just, this is just so weird. It's people with money playing with toys.
I'll be gosh darn if I'm going to stand up here and make up stuff that I don't know to be true.
We don't want you to make up anything. Do you know and you can't
Fucking tell her.
Can you tell me that?
No, I'm telling you, Martha, I'm telling you, we don't.
You don't know.
We
can't
can't corroborate every single sighting. Some of them we have, not all of them, and we're working hard to do that. We know people are afraid of it. We know people have concerns.
But they've said, okay, so these ones we figured out they were aircraft, like literal planes and helicopters being flown by people. These ones, if we look at the images of them, they look like they are small privately owned drones. This one, I don't know what it is. It could be a privately owned drone. I'm not sure. And then that's where they are right now. Jesus, Team Jesus, yes. I mean, the U.S. government has been on Team Jesus. Why wouldn't they believe in boogeymen?
Have those same concerns.
Yeah, because they're flying over your house and it sounds like there are motorcycles landing on your roof. So let me ask you this. One, person who watched this online said they think it's a Pterodynamics Transwing Drone XP4, which is being developed by the U.S. Navy as a recon and logistics drone capable of picking up and dropping off packages between land and moving ships in high seas and winds. They're suggesting it's an American company. We asked the company.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, if this was some kind of military contract commercial drone research or maneuvers that they were testing.
They said we can't speculate on the origin of the drones that are flying over New Jersey. So is that an avenue that has been inspected? Is this a private company that is practicing something? And wouldn't they have to clear something with somebody to have this kind of activity?
It could very well be, as I said, these could be commercially developed drones of some kind.
Why not just take one down and figure out what's going on?
Well, the idea of taking something down, again, you want to worry about public safety. First of all, we don't have enough conclusions to take that kind of a policy action, but let's just assume
And you want the government attacking your toys when they're flying above, when you're flying your toy around in your backyard. You want the government attacking it now? You want the government shooting missiles at your toy drone? Is that what we want?
minute, Martha, that we did. I mean, you're not going to want to shoot something down where it could hit somebody's house or hurt somebody.
Well, the Coast Guard says that there are 30 of them following one of their ships in the ocean. So would that work?
I mean, again, we have to develop the policy options.
Now that's interesting. The Coast Guard, who's the Coast Guard's reporting that to Fox News? Or is this tying back to the what's the old footage that came out a couple of years with the UAPs? With the following the Coast Guard around, but those are situations where, those are situations like the Foo Fighters, right? Like during World War II, that and pilots have been reporting that phenomena for a while, with like seeing spherical lights following them since World War II, maybe World War I, definitely World War II though. That they'd report like spherical lights following them with some kind of, it is some kind of authentic aerial phenomena. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's intelligent. I think it's something probably along the lines of like elves and ball lightning and St. Elmo's fire, that kind of stuff. Some kind of electrical phenomena in the upper atmosphere. That's what I think. I don't have any proof of that. I know that there's all kinds of cool stuff that goes on up there. We don't know a lot about some of it, and some of it we're just discovering new information on. So, yeah.
Based on what we know we're dealing with here, and we just don't know enough to make those to take those kinds of actions. But my goodness, we're going to do everything we can to find out, and we're going to share as much as we can. I understand it's frustrating for folks.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Is it Fox News's job to be like or is their job literally to fearmonger, to be like, oh, we're scared of drones now, to get everybody, get grandma and grandpa all fired up? Because that's not only people that watch like network television now, or like older people, well, for the most part. But regardless, to get people all worked up and nervous about drones. They need something to scare people.
Frustrating for us. We want to know what
does President Biden say about it?
Oh, she just asked what President Biden said. I am incredibly frustrated right now watching this. I mean,
why?
Cat Joy's saying, come on. Debbie's saying, like, Biden hates America. I don't know if Biden hates America as much as his brain's turning to mashed potatoes. I don't think he even has a brain, honestly. Amy Hyde says he's totally gaslighting us. I mean,
he's sad. You just don't like the answers he's giving. He's like, okay, some of these are commercial drones. Some of them are manned aircraft. He's given answers. You just don't like the answers. You want him to say it's Chinese spy balloons, or that it's, angels coming down.
That's what I'm saying, Pinky. We got to wait for another month and 7 days to figure out what in the earth is going on. Tell me the military doesn't know what these are? Exactly.
He also has tasked the team
it's mass hysteria, D. They're just looking up, and anything they're seeing now is scary.
Look into this and to be energetic in doing it, to try to get answers. He saw some of these images yesterday. He has talked to his team, including his top leaders, including at the Defense Department.
Have you called in like AI experts, or said like, why don't we ask Elon Musk what he thinks, or brought in outside experts?
We're working really hard right now inside our
Why? Who cares what Elon Musk thinks? Like, have you checked with the most incompetent person on Earth to see how what he thinks about these? Remember when Elon Musk was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this to rescue those people stuck down in the mines," and I mean, he's so dumb. Like, people act like he's some kind of genius or something. He's not. He's made smart investments in smart companies. Like, SpaceX and Tesla and stuff, but he's not innovating the products that they're making. There's engineers and scientists and stuff working on that. He's just the money. He's the money guy. He's not the science guy. He's the money guy. People seem to misunderstand that. So why on earth would you ask Elon Musk about these drones? Like, what could he possibly have? What on earth could Elon Musk possibly have to contribute to this conversation?
Agency, and certainly supporting the FBI and DHS as they investigate this. And if we need to have additional conversations with people outside the lifelines, we certainly will do that. But I want to make sure
look at these. These are not
investigators and what they're doing.
These are like, pay attention to the drone footage they're showing. These are not big drones. Look at these. These are the little ones. These are the ones like you can buy at Walmart. These are the ones that, like I was saying, you do like less than the half pound that you can fly without having to register them and things like that. These are the little bitty ones. The ones that are, maybe a foot across and super lightweight, made like super lightweight plastic. They're not. You can tell, especially by how fast they're like zipping around and stuff. There's some of them that are even smaller, like softball sized. That's like the ones that they make the art with.
Weird. I mean, people, they're low. They fly fairly low, some of these. It just, I think, is amazing that the White House has no idea what's going on. I think that makes people feel really unsettled. In New Jersey, they sent out an intelligence.
That's literally people's neighbors, lady. Why?
Intelligence bulletin, I should say, issued in December of 2024 with recommendations for encountering downed UAVs. And it says a downed or landed drone should not be approached. It says request hazardous materials response unit or local hazmat team. And then it says request the nearest bomb squad. Do you agree with those recommendations if one of these things comes into someone's house or lands in their yard, or they have to deal with it?
Yeah, look, I haven't seen that directive, but all that makes perfect sense to me as a former military person. If something like an aircraft of any kind lands in your backyard or close to you or your family, call the authorities. Don't approach it. You don't know what it is, and you don't.
Yeah, if anything crashes in your backyard, any kind of machinery or anything, I wouldn't approach it. You don't know if it could be a bomb, if it could have fuel that's leaking out of there, some kind of gas. I'd stay the hell away from it and call somebody from the military or whatever to come get it, because it's better than risking your own safety or the safety of your family.
Don't know what kind of fuel might be on board. You absolutely should just call the authorities. Make sure you report it. Don't go near it. Don't touch it. You don't want to get hurt.
Why are you shaking your head, Tyler? Why is Tyler shaking his head like that's horrible? No, Tyler's going to go out there with his double barrel and pump it full of lead. Is what's going to happen. He's going to open fire on the vehicle. What are you going to do if you're going to approach it? It's going to be that scene from Men in Black where he comes out there and gets his skin stolen.
One last question for you, and it's in another.
Do you guys think it's possible that we could be getting invaded by aliens? I didn't even think aliens were real. I always thought that they were spiritual. I'm going to play a clip from Tucker Carlson where he says the same thing. Not that he's the voice of reason on the whole situation, but I'm just saying from my perspective, I've always thought that, these extraterrestrial things that existed were like real, these accounts that people have and pilots and, smart people or whatever that, you hear Donald Trump and other people tell stories about. I've always thought like, okay, those accounts are real, but I have a spiritual perspective. And I thought they were angels and demons and they were just catching them doing what they do. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but moving in ways that humanly is impossible. But,
drones can move like, they can zip all around. That's what we're seeing on this screen over here to the right of the people you're watching. You can see them zipping around. That's what drones do. That's what drones do. At least 25% of my audience voting on this think it's demonic, and 12% think it's alien. Nobody thinks it's angelic right now in the polls. Most people think it's literally just a drone,
spiritually isn't from that perspective. And so, but when I think about angels and demons, I don't think of them on drones. Like I don't think like, there's angels out there that have like, let me just wire these drones together. The descriptions of angels in the Bible and like
what if the Star of Bethlehem was a drone that led the wise men to baby Jesus?
I don't think that. And demons are like, hang on, give me a screwdriver. Like, so, you know, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh man,
area. It's in the Middle East, where obviously
I don't know how much of this we're gonna get through.
John, there is a lot going on. There's a new headline in the Wall Street Journal today that suggests that the incoming Trump team is considering many options, including airstrikes in Iran, because Iran is working very hard, according to reports, to escalate their ability to make weapons-grade uranium, to move up their calendar, because they see everything collapsing around them and they want to secure enough material for nuclear weapons.
Okay, I don't need to keep going that. I want to play the Cuomo clip, and then I'm going to play that one clip out.
Okay, like, yeah, I was going to say, that didn't seem like it had anything to do with the drones, unless you're saying that that Iran's sending uranium drones over, which would be freaking crazy.
I was telling you about from Tucker Carlson. So check out what he says.
It'd be nice if that's what we heard out of the White House. You know what I'm saying? And look, I don't think that I think the congressman was a straight shooter there. I just think that there's a little bit more capability and a little bit more concern and a little bit more ease in doing this than's being suggested. How do I know? You're about to find out how. Joining me now is News Nation national security contributor Tracy Walder. We have her very often using her CIA expertise to help us understand cases, but she was also a drone pilot. Okay, so pretty good credential for tonight. And News Nation special correspondent Ross Coulthard, who spends so much time talking to sources on the inside about exactly these kinds of capabilities. He's got a great special that you're going to want to see tomorrow night called Drones Over New Jersey. It's good to have both of you. Now, I don't have any problem with what the congressman just said. I think he did a better job than most people in government I've heard. But Tracy, some of these are big, these drones, like too big to be something that you're buying commercially. And I don't think it's absurd to think that you'd have to run across
According
the field
to who? According to eyewitnesses? Eyewitnesses seeing something in the sky and saying it's this big? These are the same people that see a seagull and say it's a pterodactyl. These are the same people that see Orion's belt and think they're seeing a UFO, and you're going to trust them on the size of the drones they're seeing. I've watched the videos on the side here that they've been playing while they were talking earlier, and none of those drones seemed bigger than a basketball hoop to me. Just my opinion.
Track them to know where they're landing. I mean, they caught the Chinese guy, right? That they just found at the airport.
Right, you're absolutely right, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. And I actually wholeheartedly agree with the congressman. One of the things that sort of piqued my interest about this is he talked about that Picatinny Arsenal that's close by, as well as McGuire Air Force Base. One of the things that they recently did this past summer is successfully tested battery-powered fixed-wing aircraft to deliver cargo between bases. And it is a larger type of drone. It looks very much like an airplane, but obviously is a bit smaller. And so part of me wonders if this could be what individuals are seeing. But
if it's the Air Force Base,
it could be, but the thing about the drones in New Jersey is that they show the videos of them, and they're very clearly little commercial drones, like commercially available drones. They're not big scary ones or whatever that people think they are.
And the White House shouldn't be going on to the news saying we don't know what it is. If it's the Air Force Base, they shouldn't be lying to us. They just say, listen, it's our military stuff.
Our point, obviously, as someone who worked in, I guess, the depths of our government at the CIA.
But they know it's not their military stuff. They're saying, hey, we don't know who these belong to. They're just drones, like people are flying around. We think they're residential and commercial if they're not misidentifications.
Hey, I get it. When you feel that the government is not being forthcoming and not being honest, I don't believe these are a threat. It's scary. And I do think they need to come clean with the American people about what these are.
One pushback. I have so much tremendous respect for the amount of expertise you developed to be at the CIA. And I'm not a cynic about government. We need transparency, but I think it's amazing what you were able to do for this country, and I appreciate you for it. I just feel like I want your gut before I go to Ross on, I feel like they have to know more, either because they're doing it or because they know what it is, and they're just saying, yeah, there's nothing to it. But I think the people have moved past accepting that kind of answer.
We're not accepting it. And part of the reason that we're here and we're not accepting it is because the spokesperson from the White House actually just went on Fox News and said they have no idea what it is. And so what does that mean? It's okay for the White House to lie to us? Not anymore.
They know what it is. He did not say that. He said they didn't. He knows what it is. He's very clear that he knows that it's drones. They even mentioned a model number, but he was pretty clear about saying, it looks like it's residential or commercial drones. He didn't say, I don't know what it is. He said, they're not sure who they belong to. And as we've discussed at nauseum at this point, if they're below a certain weight, they don't have to be registered at all. Apparently people do fly them illegally, which is, that's a thing that happens. It's nothing. It is something for law enforcement to look into, but it's not like a weird conspiracy that the government's covering up or anything. It's like, someone's flying a unregistered commercial or unregistered private drone without registering it with the FFA or whatever. I mean, there's that.
2024, and certainly not in 2025. Transparency is what we demand. Kristen76 says, love being a part of this family. Psalm 91 prayed every day. Amen, amen, amen. We are glad you're here, and you've been with us for 11 months. Congratulations, Amy Heights. Thank you so much for that super sticker.
I could not agree with you more. I wholeheartedly agree that they know more about what these are.
Like,
and
look at that. That's
not to tell us. But
what they're showing right there is a little drone. How you've seen these? If you've ever gone to a local baseball game, if you ever gone to a local sporting event or a graduation, these things are flying above our heads the whole time now. Like, seriously, these are...
We do think that we have sort of moved past that mentality of people, I guess, being okay with it. You know, when I started at the CIA in 2000, that was an acceptable excuse. Hey, it's not a threat. Let's just move on. And people really did accept that. But we're not at that place right now. People have a lot of distrust in the government, and I do understand why. And I really do think that, look, I get that we shouldn't be giving sort of the top secret intricacies of what this is, but I do think the government needs to give more information.
Yeah, Ross, I mean, I see this as such an opportunity for them. I see it as a metaphor. Like, you know, this is the same guy, Mayorkas, who's saying no big deal. It's the same thing he said about the border at the Department of Homeland Security. Submarine just completely exploded the Biden administration's credibility on a very major issue. And this is such a great opportunity for them to say one of two things. We got people like Walter working here. We know exactly what this is. Certain things you need to know, certain things you don't. Or we don't know. We don't know what some of these things are, and we're going to find out because we see what you're seeing, and who's ever doing.
That's what they said, except for they didn't even say we don't know what they are. They said, we're pretty sure we know what these are. We just don't know who they belong to because they're the property of private citizens or private companies, right? It's not that deep, brah.
Doing this, we're saying we're putting a moratorium. You better stop, and if you don't, we're going to catch you like we did the Chinese guy. What do you think from your sources?
Firstly, good evening, Chris. Look, I have to say I vehemently disagree with any assertion that either the FBI or the Defense Department have any clear idea what this phenomenon is over the east coast of the United States. I'm talking to people in the FBI who are utterly baffled by this phenomenon. They tell me they do not know what these objects are. They're not getting answers. I'm told, for example, that these objects are the size of an SUV, a large SUV. So the argument from the congressman that these objects are too small to detect is not correct at all. I'm told that there have been attempts to...
You're told by eyewitnesses that they're this big when they're flying thousands of feet up in the sky. You're being told that, and you just take it at face value, as opposed to the person working with the FBI to investigate these are saying, you know what, they're not showing up on radars. They're not. If you look at the videos, I'm used to looking at videos like this, so I kind of get an idea of scale. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but just the way that they move, the drones move based on their size and mobility, you can kind of get an idea how big they are. Because, physics are consistent.
Interdicts these objects, and that there have been the deployment of anti-drone technology. I've just received information in the last few minutes about the PSEG nuclear site at Salem, which is the Hope Creek generating station on a 740-acre site in Salem County, New Jersey. And a person who is privileged enough to have access to the internal messaging about that nuclear station has told me that they tried to deploy an anti-drone technology over multiple drones that were seen over the nuclear site, and that anti-drone technology, which normally works on all drones, completely failed. Moreover, these objects, whatever they are being seen not just on the East Coast, they are being seen all over the world.
Could it be because they're too small to be picked up by the technology, the anti-drone technology, because they're tiny little drones? They're little bitty and small and tiny, and people are just wrong about saying that they're SUV sized? Is that possible? Could that happen? You think so? I think that's more logical that that the technology that's designed to pick up drones when they're within that, again, 0.5 pound to 55 pound range might not be able to pick up one that's like 9 ounces or whatever. Is that a possibility, you think? And it's the way they bob around in the wind. I guess that's the main thing that sticks out to me.
I'm getting reports from here in Australia, from Japan, Indonesia, China, Russia, Europe.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to join.
Okay, so it's happening all over the world?
Talk to him is that there's something.
Is our whole world about to be invaded? Michelle, thank you so much for that.
Of course, we got to get Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson in here.
Carlson says about aliens. Similar topic.
The Joe Rogan experience.
The deeper one is what? Okay, so if they're spiritual beings, which I believe they are, like it's binary. They're either
He thinks they're spiritual.
Once you're on team good or team bad, you can assign any name to it you want. But like, what are these things? Are they good or bad? And I think some of them are bad. And if the U.S. government knows that, or elements of people within the U.S. government,
bad? How? How are they bad, Tucker? What are they doing? They're flying over. They're flying over top of us. That's bad. They should not fly over us. What if they see us? That's not fair. They can fly and we can't. What's the situation here, Tux?
know that, then then they're serving a bad force. And
well, when you say spiritual, like what makes you draw that conclusion that they're spiritual?
What's the obvious? I mean, spiritual may be the wrong word. Supernatural. They're beyond nature as we understand it. I mean, obviously they are. I mean, just chart their physical behavior. It doesn't, it goes outside of what we understand about physics. No visible means of propulsion, coming at indescribable speed, hitting the ocean, continuing at speeds that are impossible undersea. I mean, in other words, if I take a 9mm round 7.62 by 39 and shoot you at 50 yards underwater in a swimming pool, and it's even more intense in saltwater because it's denser, you could catch the bullet if it even makes it to you, right? So if you have
no one even suspects that it's the Silver Surfer yet, Aunt Jer. That's the secret.
A craft, any object underwater that's traveling at 500 knots as measured by sonar, right there, you're challenging our understanding of physics. Like, what is that? How can that be? So
they've tracked that. They've tracked things going 500 knots under the sea.
This is the thing about where they're like, he's talking about the videos that were released by of the UAPs. That's what this is about, and a lot of that was like birds, right? And the people were getting excited because they were able to, because the equipment was able to track something that small, and then they like, well, what were they tracking? I don't know. Something flying down into the water and then and then coming back up, maybe with a fish in its mouth. You think so?
Yeah, really. Yeah, much faster than any object can actually go undersea. Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on underwater, and a lot. And there's video of these things coming out of the sky into the water and also emerging from the water.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's all so blurry though.
I don't think it's that
transmedium video.
Yeah, I don't think some of it's that blurry. I think some of it's crystal clear.
We just don't have access to it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Just we haven't seen it.
Correct.
So they have some stuff
for sure. So, but there's just a lot going on underwater, and it's measured. And so, whatever. I mean, these are all, again, this is like the most obvious observable level of it. But then you just ask yourself, what is this actually? And if there's been extensive knowledge of this for decades, like maybe 80 years at least, if not going back to the 30s, 90 years, to what end? So there are two possible explanations, obvious explanations. The first is the one you often hear, which is this is so heavy that if the public were to know about it, it would be just disruptive. It'd be too scary. Like, you don't want to scare people for no good reason. There's nothing we can do about it.
Too late. People are scared.
Right? And you also don't want to suggest that, the U.S. military...
Yeah, you're literally you are the reason they're scared. Well, both of you motherfuckers on the screen are why people are scared. And that's your job, is to make people scared, because scared people vote for what you want. They vote for, the government interfering in certain aspects of our lives, like our bedrooms and things like that. But they also want to make sure that you get to keep your guns to shoot at, to shoot at drones, I guess, when they fly over your property. Yeah, why hasn't Jim Bob shot one of these suckers down so we can... I guess I shouldn't say Jim Bob because we're in New Jersey. What's a good Jersey name, guys? Give me a good Jersey name. Why hasn't one of these Jersey boys shot this sucker down?
Isn't capable of protecting the country, the homeland. And it does suggest that. If you can't control these objects in your airspace, and that's known, they can't, that's known, okay? Then that suggests a limit to the power of the U.S. military, and you don't want to tell people that because then they won't believe that they're safe. I get it. But then there's a deeper level.
But if you want to be able to have a drone so you can deliver a pie to grandma up the street, do you want the government tracking your little pie drone? Is that what you want, Tucker? I don't think it is.
Okay, what's your relationship with these things? What is the U.S. government's relationship with these things? And there's evidence that there is a relationship.
Tony, there you go.
It's longstanding, and that raises a lot of questions about intent, and so what is that? And I just personally decided, and people have been hurt by these things. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's a knowable fact. It's a provable fact, and killed. And I'm not saying millions of people have been killed by whatever these things are, but people have been killed, and it's known because it's working its way through the courts out of the VA. So, I don't know, an object that is by definition supernatural. It's above the laws of nature as we understand them. And
on our poll so far, we've actually got some votes for angelic. Somebody thinks the drones are angelic. 6%, 17% say demonic, and 17% say aliens. So aliens and demonic have tied now, but they're literally drones. It's still leading the way with 61% of the vote. That's over half of my audience. Joey would be a good one. Joey, Tony, Maurice. You can call him Mo. Maybe Big Mo.
That has resulted in the deaths of people. But we don't spend enough time thinking about what that adds up to. Not good. Actually, not good.
How many people do you think have died from these things?
I don't know, but I mean,
And is it radiation sickness? Is it what's the
so the person that I talked to, I interviewed someone who was a Stanford medical
Now remember, this is Tucker Carlson, who is attacked in his bed with his wife, sleeping with their 4 dogs, and he's attacked by demons in his sleep, and his evidence are that something scratched him in his sleep. And again, sleeping with his wife and 4 dogs. So credulity is Tucker's bread and butter, but Tucker also thinks that evolution is is false. So,
school professor who's out there and worth talking to, by the way. And
but hey, Tony works.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He was effectively an expert witness in these cases, so he's an expert in brain injury. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Entirely credible person. Checks all the boxes that I care about. He's got patents, so he's like a lot of Stanford University professors. He's like independently rich. He flew to. I live in a remote place, and he flew to my place at his own expense because he wanted to tell his story. So he's got no profit motive here. He's the most highly credentialed person at a university, practically, Stanford Medical School. We consider that a big deal. And he's worked on this for over 10 years, assessing the injuries to U.S. servicemen from being in close proximity to these objects or having contact with these objects. And his conclusion, as you know, because you talked to him, is that there's some kind of energy coming off here that scrambles people's brains or kills them. And it's not exactly radiation.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's 5G. Maybe it's 6G. Ooh, they turned up to 6G and scramble people's brains with it? Is a 6G drone going to come and blast Tucker in the head?
At least in his telling to me. So anyway, but the point is, people have died.
Yeah.
And so,
people have died from drones. I don't think that's ever happened to anyone in the world ever.
It does raise a lot of questions about, like, what the hell, right? What the hell? American citizens have died and you're hiding it? Why are you hiding that? Why would you hide that?
Perhaps because they don't have any explanations.
What do you guys think? Do you think what he's saying, that it's possibly a spiritual being, could be true? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's possible what he's saying, that these things could be spiritual beings.
Because it's so
I don't want to see any ones in this chat. You all better behave. I will turn this hive around.
Beyond our comprehension, that they're still trying to piece it together. Like, I would wonder how much interaction they really do have with these things. Like, if I was from another planet or if I was some interdimensional being, I don't know how much I'd give a shit about the president. I don't know how.
And sorry for the cursing. I actually checked for cursing before this, but I did not type that word in. So I guess I didn't fully check for cursing.
How much I'd give a shit about the government. Geez, this bizarre territorial apes with thermonuclear weapons, this very weird species. I'd probably look at them as very chaotic, and I wouldn't really have much concern for who's running it, especially if they have the ability to travel at insane speeds and go undetected. And
well, it depends. Like that. Okay, so the template that you're using to understand this is like science fiction, right? These are an advanced race of beings from somewhere else. But the template that every other society before us has used is a spiritual one. Mm-hmm. There is a whole.
I don't think that they're killing private citizens. So military drones have killed, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, I'd say, in this year. But I don't think any, like, the drones just flying over people's houses are scrambling their brains, John. I mean, that was my thoughts on it. But yeah, drone strikes are real. But I don't think that's where Tucker's going with this.
World that we can't see that acts on people, the supernatural world that's acting on us all the time for good and bad. Every society has thought this before ours. In fact, every society in all recorded history has thought that until, I'll be specific, August 1945, when we dropped the atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And all of a sudden, the West is just officially secular. We're God. There is no God but us. And that's the world that we have grown up in. But that's an anomaly. Like, no one else has ever thought that. There's never been a society that thought that. Every other society has assumed, and they've had all kinds of different explanations, and the details differ. But the core idea does not differ. It never has differed from caves until now. That
there have been secular societies. Now, what individual people within those societies believed is variable across continents, but were there people that believed that everything was all natural all the way, since what, the ancient Greek days? There's always been people who were physicalists.
That we're being acted on by spiritual forces at all times. And so to someone born before or living before 1945, I think it would have been much more obvious that this is the thing that every society has written about. And in fact, that battle, that unseen battle around us,
he's missing the point that this is when people started flying in airplanes too, is when we stopped saying that the lights in the sky were angels or whatever, and started saying that they were like technology of some kind, right? That's when, once we got up into the sky, it was when we started having these experiences with this aerial phenomena. Now there's a lot of different phenomena that goes on up there that pilots may have been experiencing, including things like I said before, ball lightning and such, that we don't really understand very well how it forms and what causes it and how to detect when we're gonna experience it. But we know that they exist from, we can see the effects of it. But regardless, wouldn't have known that before World War II, when flying planes became the thing, the way forward for humankind.
Spiritual battle has been the basis of every society, of every religion, not just Christianity. So, it just, once you discard your very, very recent assumptions, relatively speaking, about how the world works, you're like, well, that kind of seems like the obvious explanation, right?
Yeah.
He said it seems like the obvious explanation.
That people were stupid. Yeah.
I also want to tune into Mike Signorelli because he actually did it. He's a pastor friend of mine, and he actually did a stream about this tonight as well from a spiritual perspective. Kedjoy, Amy Heights, thank you so much for your amazing support tonight.
For what you've seen. Now, again, this is not fear mongering. This is not sensationalizing things for clicks or views or likes. But, you know, being a New York City resident myself, and things are just getting weird. Now, I live by JFK and LaGuardia. Matter of fact, if you live in New York City, you're in close proximity to some kind of airport. And so things in the sky are normal to us. Helicopters, you know, all kinds of commercial aircraft, like that's normal for us. And so you got to understand, to have New Jersey residents, Staten Island residents, New York City residents uploading footage and being extremely concerned should be concerning to you. And the reason why I say that is because these are, think about this, 10 million residents in New York City Metro. We're used to the sounds of normal commercial craft. So when the alarm starts being pulled by New Jersey residents, Staten Island residents, New York City residents.
Yeah, because these are little drones that don't make noise, you know, or they have like they're basically like little fans that make them fly and stuff. They're not noisy. They're small. They have LED lights on them that go in all different crazy colors. They're way different than your commercial vehicles, so of course people are going to freak out about them.
Y'all should be concerned in the rest of the world.
Yes, like sprites. Thank you. Play all the games.
When we say it's not normal, it's not normal. Okay, so anybody,
I agree with everything he's saying exactly right there.
Any New Yorkers, anybody from New Jersey, can you vouch for me? If you're just joining right now, hit the subscribe button and join my channel so that you never miss a live update. But here's the thing: so John Kirby is the white.
Yeah, that was Tucker's claim that radiation from drones has killed people, and those cases are working through the courts, and then that's just vaguely hand waving towards we don't got any citation on that.
House National Security Communications Advisor, and John Kirby's official statement is like, hey, these are actually just misidentified legal operated manned aircraft, and he, you know, then he's emphasizing that there's no indication of any threat to national security or public safety. However, some residents, and you know, there's many of them in the comment sections, remain unconvinced by the government's explanation, and people are expressing their frustration. Something's going on. Matter of fact, I just got done listening to a live broadcast from New Jersey government officials who are saying, hey, if this is the U.S. government, if they are flying craft, we need to know. We should be told, because
exactly. Why would they not tell
this? Could, you know, if it is the government, then we could tell the people if it's our government.
Exactly.
Now, if it's something else, this is where this is.
They did say it's something else. This is not. They're not ours. We think that they're either commercial or residential. And yeah, legal or illegal drones being flown in private airspace. That's what they said. That's what the military said. And it's like, we don't know what they are. You keep implying that. Or these guys keep implying this because they said they don't know where they're coming from. They don't know who's flying them and all this. It's
exactly right. Why would they not? Why have they not come out and said?
Where it gets like really crazy. If it's a foreign government, then, and our U.S. government is not providing the protection that they should, then we've got bigger concerns. And so, you know, I want you to look.
Don't you think if they thought it was a foreign government, they would have knocked it down already?
In the night sky here in New York, you can see it right now. Like
because they don't think it's a foreign government. They think it's either again residential or commercial.
In this video, here you go. This video
just said that,
and it's kind of bizarre. It's really bizarre. Now, I've done my best research, and before going live,
I wanted
to make sure that I gave you a biblical, spiritual perspective, and we're going to talk about that because I do believe the Bible does speak about these things. There's many people awakening to the idea: could we be in the end times?
Lord.
Could this be? You know, there's a lot of prophecies right now. You see things that are happening in Israel, in Damascus. We've been talking about that. You see the provocation between Russia and Ukraine, the escalation that's happening, and you know, there's a lot of people asking the question like, what is really going on? Project Bluebeam, and you see all these viral memes where people are discussing, you know, could this be a desensitizing before the next thing, you know? And so I want you to look at the video, let me know for yourself, and we're going to have those conversations. Okay, so let me ask you this in the comment section: are you feeling concerned? You know, are you worried about this? Is this something? What do you think it is? You know, because here's the question, and there's even some really concerned United States citizens saying,
I am a concerned United States citizen. Amy Height says our Air Force base notifies
us.
people.
Spooky says, I was watching a news commentary stream and they said people were sending up their drones to look at what was in the sky, like some feedback loop. Exactly. Like you go and send your drone up to look at their drone, and they're like, "Oh, some UFO just approached my drone." And
when they do night flyovers in the area or drone activity, and so does our sheriff, right? So for whatever reason, if it is the government, they're keeping it secret. If it's not our government, then they've lost their minds. If it is our government and they put their spokesperson...
What do you mean they lost their minds?
...on the news to lie to the American people, they need to be reprimanded.
What did he lie to you about? He said that they didn't know whose they were, but they were looking like they were mostly manned aircraft, residential or commercial drones. They've explained what they are.
That's the way I feel.
That we want to take these things down ourselves.
You feel that way because you want to, Tyler.
And here's the question: what could it be? So let me go through the categories. Everybody, drop a thumbs up right now, especially if you believe that we need some alternative news media to cover these things. But here's what it could be. Now, based on all the study that I've done,
I bet you think you need some alternative news media.
And the amalgamation of all of the different news articles that I've read, as well as other live streams, I've tried to pull it together. And this is what it could be. Number one, it could be manned craft from the U.S. military. And so we know that we've got military bases and installations in New Jersey, New York City. And so it could be manned craft by the U.S. military. Here's where it gets weird, though. Why would they not tell us that? Okay, so you take a look at the video and you tell me if it is manned craft, because these are like larger craft that are being identified, then why would our U.S. government not tell us? Now, of course, there's always a veil of secrecy in our U.S. military and installations, and they don't have to tell us everything. But at the same time, why wouldn't they with this level of concern? Okay, I don't know if you guys can see the video here. You know, what are the things that are yeah, come on. Now, some people in the comments sections are giving some wild suggestions, but let me just go with the major ones. So, number one, these large craft that people are seeing over their residences in New Jersey and New York and other places of the U.S. Okay, it's military craft, manned or unmanned. Okay, that's number one. Number two, could it be? Now, I want to show you this. Okay, hold on now. This just you just jog my memory, okay? And because I want to show you something, and then you guys can decide with me.
I want to decide.
Matter of fact, I just pulled this up earlier, so give me a second. I'm going to pull this up right now. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so that you can stay up to date. I'm here in New York City right now. We're talking about this thing, but I want to show you something that I found from the Department of Defense. Okay, and so I actually saw this earlier today. Okay, now this is, if you go to the Department of Defense website, and you can see it here on the screen, it says sensors, receivers, and ordnance. Oh my, drones carry it all. Now, go ahead, fact check me on this. You can go to the Department of Defense site for yourself. Matter of fact, you can see down at the bottom of this screenshot.
I don't think these are military, though. I mean, that's just my opinion, of course, but I don't think they're military.
Okay, and I'm also going to be showing you some footage of something that I captured while I was recently in DC, and then you can kind of decide for yourself there. But look at the defense.gov screenshot. Now this is an article. It said sensors, receivers, and ordinances. Oh my, drones carry it all. Unmanned systems help U.S. service members gain realistic training experience, test equipment, and so much more. But how much do you know about the military's drones? So I just want to start with this. Okay, now we're going to be talking about foreign government craft.
He just sped him up.
In U.S. airspace. We're now here's one thing I'll rule out before I even say anything else. Let's just go ahead and rule out commercial or recreational craft, because these things are too big.
Yeah, of course, rule that out. Why rule out what it actually is and what the government said it was, and what the people who investigated said it was? Because you don't like that answer.
To be recreational craft, and to be honest with you, some of it might be commercial craft. Like
nothing you've shown looks too big to be recreational craft, my dude.
Or just heavy duty drones, things that are used for filming and things of that nature. And so of course we can't rule that out. Not everything that people are capturing is like legitimate. It's just sometimes people never paid attention to it the first time they did. They took a video, they think they saw something. Like, let's be fair, let's be intellectual about this. But at the same time, we're talking about thousands of reports, thousands of videos that you can see on social media, and we've got to have a very serious.
And you're like, I want to rule out what it actually is so I can stick some conspiracies in here. I want to rule out what they said it was, because it can't be residential or commercial, because that doesn't fit with what I want it to be. I don't know. What's your point? Why? And again, it doesn't matter if they're legal or illegal. The main thing is that they're going to be residential and privately owned. I mean, not to say that there aren't drones being handled by Chinese nationals flying over government facilities or Air Force bases or whatever, taking videos, right? But the majority of what we're seeing here flying over is just some dude in his backyard with his drone. Like, they even got the flashy, like, disco light colors and stuff. Like, do you think that a Chinese spy drone is going to be up there blinking green and purple and strobe lights? Do you think that's what the way that the spies are going to spy on us, with strobe lights? Come on now.
And so if you agree with me that this is not just recreational craft, commercial or recreational craft, hit the thumbs up right now as a sign. Let me just see that and just kind of get a vote going. So then it sort of leaves us with, in my humble opinion, and I want to know what you think in the comments, it sort of leaves us with now just a handful of options. One would be U.S. military craft, manned or unmanned. Two would be foreign government, manned or unmanned craft, which is majorly concerning. And then three would be some sort of anomalous spiritual thing. And I want to talk to you about that, because some of you are like, oh,
or the one that the option is actually the one that you've ruled out already.
I get it. This guy's crazy. He's a preacher. He's a pastor. He's some sort of Christian or something. Oh, let me click out of this video. No, wait. Why don't you wait before you click out? Because even renowned astrophysicists like Dr. Hugh Ross have said that some of these craft, as they've been legitimately filmed, are doing maneuvers so fast that there should be a sonic boom. And why isn't there a sonic boom? Because those are the laws of known science. And then number two, they're turning at right angles and they're doing.
Those are the laws of known science, because they're little drones that are zipping around, like, they're little bitty. They're not big planes moving at the speed of sound. They're just not. They're not. Some of the stuff that they thought was drones on the UAP stuff that the CIA released was birds. Like bird scientists have looked at these and said, yeah, that's some birds.
Various different things that could be drones, but the speed of it is faster than commercial or recreational craft that we know about, and that could be the result of it being interdimensional. And for those of you who are like, Mike just lost his mind, he's talking about interdimensional craft on YouTube. Let me just tell you what science calls interdimensional, what some astrophysicists call interdimensional, could the Bible have called it spiritual? And what does the Bible talk about? If you love these conversations, because I love these conversations, I want you to tap the subscribe button right now and join this channel. So hit subscribe right now. But because I love this stuff, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm going there today. Stay with me and hit the subscribe button because I've been tracking this.
Really want hit the subscribe button here if you want me to keep your finger on the pulse of this nonsense. Subscribe, and I will keep you informed on the grift that the fear mongering. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to find out that these were like SpaceX craft that Tesla had released to scare people into giving up their freedom. That would be if there's any kind of conspiracy, that'd be the one I'd believe the most. That this was like a Musk-Trump conspiracy to to make their own base scared by like sending like basic drones up and saying, scary.
Day by day, okay? So if you go to the Department of Defense website, it will tell you that there are sensors, receivers, ordinances. Oh my, that's the topic here. Drones carry it all. And, there's unmanned systems that help the U.S. service members gain realistic training experience. But here's the thing. Okay, so I want to flesh out each one of these things it could be. And then you're going to remember being on this broadcast and you're going to say, wow, Mike Signorelli was live from New York. We were looking at footage of possible things in the sky. He was going through the evidence and he called it. So, but I'm going to machine gun it. It could be multiple things. So stay with me, okay? And I want to get to meet you in the comment section.
Oh, we're over 3 hours
I'm going to
already.
put a link to Mike's video in the chat if any of you want to finish watching that. It actually goes on for like an hour and a half. What I want to do since it is Faith Friday is actually share this scripture with you out of 1 Peter.
All right, we're not doing scripture. Sorry, bud. All right, that was a Tyler Feller. This feller is a fearmonger. And the drone stuff, what are the drones? In my opinion, with the evidence available to me, is that these drones are mostly commercial, privately operated, recreational, and residential drones, right? And I say residential, I guess I mean recreational, like ones that people can buy at, sporting goods store that are under the weight capacity that they can fly it just around their neighborhood without having to register it with the FFA, right? So those things considered, that's why I think the majority of these are. Did I see any of these that looked like they were the size of SUVs like they were claiming? No, none of them looked that big to me. You're going to bring evidence that there's SUV sized drones flying around above us before I'm going to believe it. I do believe that there are, softball sized drones flying around above us, and some of them, as big as up to the size of a trash can lid that can be flown without registering them. They get about that big, and they all kinds of LEDs of all the colors of the rainbow, and they don't look like commercial craft. So yeah, people seeing those are gonna be like, whoa, what the? But this is the second time this year that we've had drones over a city make people lose their shit. It's crazy. Yeah, don't shoot down Jesus. Tyler Feller. That Tyler Feller, he's a wild one. By the way, I slapped the like button, so if you haven't, get to it. Yeah, like for real, slap the like button underneath my video, and let me know you love me. All right, so that's been the weird with it for today. More drone nonsense. Who would have thought? Do you think that the drones are demonic, alien, or angelic? Let me know in the comments down below, and please remember to be kind. Take care, and we will see you next time.